get what you deserve!
We have one more song left. The song is called 70 times 7 and or No I in Team, depending on which record you bought first. We have a friend of ours named Jesse. He sang before us in a band called Brand New. He's gonna come help us out.
Hello, good people of the internet. Welcome back to the Cozy Representative YouTube experience. So, for literal years, people have been asking me to make a video about this subject, and at this point, right now, I figured, why the hell not? It's time. That's right, the beef, the feud between Taking Back Sunday and Brand New.
About what the fighting and the songs were about were much better than what really happened. So it really kind of ruins it to like take away. It just takes away because it's like such a great. There's so many great stories out there.
Probably, no, I would say definitely the most talked about and most infamous feud in emo history. It's a big part of emo history in general.
It's funny too, because even after all this time, I got folks come up to me like, "Yo, so you hate Jesse Lacey?" I'm like, I don't even know that motherfucker, man.
And there's a lot of misconceptions about it, I think. There's been a lot of conspiracy theories throughout the years on the internet about this beef and what did happen and what didn't happen, etc.
I mean, see, because John and Jesse grew up together, and we had this thing, because we listened to a lot of hip-hop at the time, so we figured... so we figured, why not try this thing out, you know, because Jay-Z and Nas had that thing.
Yeah. The funniest thing about this beef, this feud, to me, is that with all the conspiracies and all the hype and the fact that people are still talking about it and still confused about it now, literally 20 years later after it happened, is that, as far as I know, as far as we're going to get into in this video, the actual story is very simple, actually not even that exciting, and the beef was seemingly squashed very quickly, and it's really something that, in my eyes, has been blown way out of proportion to this day.
And it absolutely worked, because it came this way bigger thing than it ever was.
So, I'm not going to be theorizing anything. No conspiracy theories here, okay? I'm going to be, in this video, delivering you the straight and simple facts as they have been told to us by band members and as they have been documented in sources. And for all intents and purposes, this video exists strictly for documentation purposes only. I also want to say I got a lot of help on the research side of this video from my good friend Mattie. Mattie does YouTube stuff as well. They are a part of a channel called Watchtower Database, I believe, which is like, it's sort of like a comic book centered kind of channel. I don't know a whole lot about that stuff, but it looks really cool. And I believe Mattie also has a personal YouTube channel of their own. So big thank you to Mattie for all of their help with the research for this video. I would not have been able to do it without the help that Mattie gave to me, and I'm going to put the links to their YouTube stuff in the description, so go check out their stuff. That being said, hello! My name is the Cozy Representative. Let's get into the Taking Back Sunday versus Brand New feud and what really happened. Let's go.
I think that Sean Cooper can tell the real story to people. I think really when it comes down to it, Sean Cooper is the man. He knows the real truth.
John and Jesse liked a girl. John made out with a girl before Jesse did. Jesse got bummed about it, and all these songs happened because of it.
first, a big thank you to anyone and everyone who supports this channel on Patreon. You guys, I say this every time, but I really mean it. You guys are the real MVPs, and you really do keep the lights on over here. This channel is a 100% DIY operation, and, you know, you guys, your support every month really helps me be able to do what I do. If you want some bonus content, you can check out the link in the description to my Patreon. There's different tiers, which include different types of bonus content. There will be more bonus content in the future on there. This week I'm going to be filming some stuff for Patreon, so if you want a little bit more of the Cozy Representative, or if you just want to help out, check out the link in the description. And thank you to all patrons. You guys rock. So, to start this off, Taking Back Sunday. Who the hell are they? Brand new. What the heck is that? Let's start off with the basics. Taking Back Sunday are an American rock band. Some would put them in the emo category, the post-hardcore category, the alternative rock category, pop punk even. They formed back in 1999 in Long Island, New York. They've had numerous lineup changes throughout the years, and they have 7 studio albums to date. Their mainstream commercial peak was around their 2006 album Louder Now, with the single Make Damn Sure becoming a big hit on the radio and on MTV. Their first album, 2002's Tell All Your Friends, is cited as being incredibly influential on emo music as a whole. Taking Back Sunday are still an active band to this day. Brand New were an American rock band, also sometimes classified as emo, post-hardcore, alt-rock, or pop-punk early, and even sometimes called indie rock. They formed back in 2000, also hailing from Long Island, New York, and they released 5 full-length studio albums during their tenure as a band. Their commercial peak, believe it or not, also came around 2006 with their record, The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me. Their first record, 2001's Your Favorite Weapon, was more pop-punk leaning than their later stuff and was very influential. Their second one, though, 2003's Deja Entendu, was probably even more influential on emo as a whole, and so was Devil and God. The band broke up in 2018, and just to address the elephant in the room now, yes, in late 2017, Brand New frontman Jesse Lacey was accused of sexual misconduct, which had occurred back in the early to mid 2000s. This was one of the first big quote-unquote cancellations, as it were, in the world of emo music. And as far as I know, Jesse Lacey being an alleged sexual deviant does not have anything to do with the feud between them and Taking Back Sunday, at least the one back in the early 2000s with the, you know, what we're talking about today. Nothing has been said about that publicly, at least. Again, I don't want to get into any conspiracies, but I think the two things are separate. So, our story begins in Long Island, New York, back in the mid-90s, with 2 young indie rock high school friends, John Nolan and Jesse Lacey. Fun fact, little known fact, the two actually had a band together around this time when they were in high school, which was called Godmunder. There are some recordings out there of this band. It's pretty interesting stuff. It sounds very different from Taking Back Sunday or Brand New. It's very Pearl Jam inspired, kind of like D-tier 90s indie rock.
Don't ever regret the choice you made.
Anyways, after this, Jesse Lacey went on to be a part of a more rough around the edges, more punky indie rock band, which was called The Rookie Lot, who to me kind of sound a little bit like if, I don't know, The Promise Ring and Dinosaur Jr. had a baby or something like that. The rookie lot existed around 98, 99, around there. In 1999, get ready, a new Long Island local band was formed by a local Long Island music scene legend named Eddie Reyes, who had been a part of the band The Movie Life, as well as countless other Long Island hardcore and emo bands throughout the 90s. Dude was a mainstay in the local scene. This new band called themselves Taking Back Sunday. And at the time of its incarnation back in 1999, the original lineup of Taking Back Sunday consisted of Eddie Reyes on guitar, John Nolan on guitar and backing vocals, Jesse Lacey on bass, a singer named Antonio Longo, as well as a drummer named Stephen DeJoseph. These guys had all connected with one another through the Long Island local music scene. So, this is where the story starts to get a little bit funky, so pay attention. 3 or 4 months after the formation of the band, Taking Back Sunday, bassist Jesse Lacey left the group. In comes a young scenester named Adam Lazzara, who actually lived in North Carolina. John Nolan called him up to see if he would want to fill in on bass for Taking Back Sunday. According to Alternative Press magazine from an article on TBS back in 2003, quote, Lazzara first met the band nearly 2 years ago when they played a show near his hometown in the High Point/Greensboro, North Carolina area, and jokingly suggested he join. I was like, you guys need a bass player? Because I hear Long Island boys get all the girls, he recalls, laughing. Then Eddie took it seriously, and the next thing I knew, I was driving up to New York. So Adam Lazzara, young Adam Lazzara, moved from North Carolina up to New York to join the band permanently as bassist, and that is such a cool, like, rock and roll, like, what a thing that only like a 19-year-old kid would do, right? Like, move states to join this like tiny local band. That's badass, and obviously it worked out well for him. Anyways, around this time, drummer Stephen DeJoseph left the band and was replaced by a guy named Mark O'Connell. I'm just kind of covering the Taking Back Sunday history, early history here, just to get our bearings. So during this time of early lineup instability for the OG Taking Back Sunday, they recorded songs which would come out on their first EP, which was self-titled Taking Back Sunday in the latter half of the year 2000. On this EP, according to the liner notes, Adam Lazzara played bass on all of the songs, and the only contribution made from former bassist Jesse Lacey were some backing vocals on the last track of the EP, Summer Stars. I point this out because that's one misconception that I see on the internet a lot. A lot of people think that Jesse Lacey played bass on this whole EP, but according to the liner notes, which I'm showing you here, Adam was the bassist for these recordings. On the cover of the EP, it shows a band photo. From left to right, the members on the cover are John Nolan, Adam Lazzara, Mark O'Connell, Antonio Longo, and Eddie Reyes. That EP sounds a little bit something like this.
It was 2000, you guys released your first EP, which was a self-titled EP. It had songs like One Way Conversation, 11, songs like that on there.
Oh yeah,
Summer Stars.
Summer Stars, yeah. We recorded that with Mike Sapone, and that was the first time I was ever in a studio, and I played bass on that, and then did my best Ari Katz impersonation on the songs I sang backup on. He was a singer for a band called Lifetime.
So, around the time of the release of this EP in 2000, former Taking Back Sunday bassist Jesse Lacey, remember that guy, started a new band with him as the lead singer and guitar player, and this band was called Brand New. So, before we go any further, let's back up a moment to the instance where Jesse Lacey left Taking Back Sunday. So, sources tell me that Jesse Lacey departed Taking Back Sunday over a falling out which occurred between him and John Nolan. And being that this is classic emo lore we're talking about right now, of course the falling out was over, you guessed it, a girl. Now, I already played this clip earlier in the video, but let's hear about the specifics of this falling out between John and Jesse, straight from the source, straight from the band themselves, straight from Taking Back Sunday bassist Sean Cooper. Again, no conspiracy theories, no speculation. Here's what Taking Back Sunday bassist Sean Cooper had to say with John Nolan and the rest of the band on stage with him, about what really happened during a performance back in 2012. Take it away, Sean.
John and Jesse liked a girl. John made out with a girl before Jesse did. Jesse got bummed about it. All these songs happened because of it.
You heard the man. John and Jesse liked a girl. John made out with the girl before Jesse did. Jesse got bummed about it. Boom. Mic drop. As far as I know, that's what happened. I trust Mr. Sean Cooper. Again, the rest of Taking Back Sunday were on stage with him, including John Nolan. I will take that as the truth. Pretty actually innocent and kind of boring, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not really that interesting. But I mean, I guess it is a big deal in like a situational sense. I mean, you're a young guy, a young fresh out of high school, emo guy, in 1999, someone's macking on your crush before you do. That's, man, what a shot to the heart, for a young dude. I get it. So anyways, what did Sean Cooper say next in that clip?
All these songs happened because of it.
All of these songs happened because of it. So, let's get into the next portion of this thing, where this falling out between friends over a girl turned into a very real, very publicized, very infamous, mystical emo feud, which again, people are still talking about now, 20 years later, over 20 years later. So, Jesse Lacey's band, which he formed after leaving Taking Back Sunday, called, what are they called again? That's right, Brand New, released their debut record, which was called Your Favorite Weapon, in October of 2001. On this record was a song called 70 times 7. This song was a diss song against John Nolan. A song about the dreaded, heart-wrenching evening in which John Nolan was macking on Jesse Lacey's love interest. Jesse was like, man, head over heels for this girl, and John Nolan was just like, what up, baby? You ever hear of Taking Back Sunday? No? Well, you will in a few years from now. And you know who started Taking Back Sunday? Me, baby. And then he was all, and Jesse Lacey was like, ah! Okay, this is getting stupid. All right, so anyway, yeah, so Jesse wrote the song 70 times 7 on the Brand New album, and about the situation, and the lyrics on this song are about as dramatic and drastic as they could possibly be. Back in school, they never taught us what we needed to know, like how to deal with despair or someone breaking your heart. I personally wish they had taught us how to do our taxes back in school, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. For 12 years, I've held it all together, but a night like this is begging to pull me apart. I played it quiet, left you deep in conversation. I felt uncool and hung out around the kitchen. I remember I kept thinking that I know you never would, and now I know I want to kill you like only a best friend could. Oh my goodness. Everyone's caught on to everything you do. Oh man, wow. This totally takes me back to the, what it felt like to be a very emotionally immature 19-year-old, because I definitely was one as well. Okay, so probably the most poignant, iconic lyrical portion of this song, 70 times 7 by Brand New, is the bridge section. Get ready for the angst. So, is that what you call a getaway? Tell me what you got away with. Because I've seen more spine and jellyfish, and I've seen more guts and 11-year-old kids. Have another drink and drive yourself home. I hope there's ice on all the roads. Ooh, jeez. I haven't listened to this song in a while. I'm like, this is harsh. And you can think of me when you forget your seatbelt, and again when your head goes through the windshield. John Nolan seems like a nice guy. You don't want his head going through the wind. You want him to be a drunk driver and die? Come on. All right. Boy, oh boy. Man, wow. Emo! So, following the first brand new record, Your Favorite Weapon, and this John Nolan diss track, 70 times 7, John Nolan's band, Taking Back Sunday, released their debut full-length album, which was called Tell All Your Friends, in March of 2002. Not that long after the brand new album, like a few months. Also, just for continuity's sake, since Taking Back Sunday had released their self-titled EP back in 2000, Antonio Longo had departed as their vocalist, and their then bassist, Adam Lazzara, became the frontman. He became the lead singer. And Sean Cooper, who we heard from earlier in this video about the details of the beef, joined as bass player. This marked the Tell All Your Friends lineup of Taking Back Sunday, known to many as the band's classic lineup, like classic Coca-Cola, baby. On this debut Taking Back Sunday full-length album, Tell All Your Friends, contained a song called There's No I in Team, which, believe it or not, was a response to Brand New's 70 times 7. Yes, this was becoming a literal emo rap beef. It's Fuckwit John Nolan Day and everybody's celebrating. So, in There's No I in Team, Taking Back Sunday fire back. And if we go down together. Best friends means, well, best friends means, that sentence doesn't resolve itself, Taking Back Sunday. What are you talking about? And I've got a $20 bill that says, that line is a reference to a different Brand New song called Mixtape. You're up late night starting fistfights versus fences in your backyard, wearing your black eye like a badge of honor, soaking in sympathy from friends who never loved you nearly half as much as me. Well, I never told you. Everything I know about breaking hearts I learned from you. It's true. But I've never done it with the style and grace you have, but I made long-term plans based on these mistakes. You get it, more over-the-top, melodramatic, young guy emo shit. But the part of this song which really revealed itself to be a true direct response to the Brand New song, which let fans know that this was a beef, and yes, this was serious, and this was personal. Taking Back Sunday versus Brand New was the bridge of There's No I in Team, where they repeated, Taking Back Sunday repeated some of the cutthroat lyrics which were taken from, originally part of, the song 70 times 7 by Brand New. They repeated the part, you can see it here. Is this what you call tact? You're about as subtle as a brick in the small of my back. Let's end this call. Have another drink. Drive yourself home. I hope there's ice. Blah, 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 blah. They repeated that part. Oh, man. Oh, shit. And as you can see by this text, it's in typical Tell All Your Friends era Taking Back Sunday fashion, where it's like a round of, I guess, 3 vocal parts going at once, and like one guy is screaming. So dope. Anyways, fans figured it out. Both Brand New's album and Taking Back Sunday's album started blowing up kind of at the same time back in 2002, and people quickly figured out that much like the beef between Nas and Jay-Z, or between Eazy-E and Dr. Dre, no, this was not a rap beef, but rather an emo beef modeled after a rap beef. And these two songs were in fact directed at one another, and word on the street was, yo, I don't know what happened, but Taking Back Sunday and Brand New fucking hate each other and seemingly literally want each other dead based on these lyrics, these back and forth lyrics. It caused quite a frenzy in the scene. However, once again, I don't want to entertain any conspiracy theories today, but based on what Mattie and I have been able to find, it appears that this beef between John and Jesse was squashed and resolved extremely quickly. It was seemingly over, and there was peace made between both parties before both of these Brand New and Taking Back Sunday albums even came out. Like, seemed like such a actually non-issue, and it seems like they were boys and friends again. really quickly. All right, let's see here. Blender Magazine, 2003. Do the bands Brand New and Taking Back Sunday have a love-hate relationship? Brand New quote from one of TBS's lyrics in their song 70 times 7, and both songs discuss bad friendships. Both 70 times 7 and Taking Back Sunday's No I in Team were written in response to a painful situation between Brand New singer Jesse and Taking Back Sunday guitarist John Nolan. The best friends grew up together in upstate New York, but fell out over, guess what? It was basically about John and Jesse fighting over a girl, and one party realizing he was wrong, and the other party realizing the other realized he was wrong, said Taking Back Sunday singer Adam Lazzara. That's not confusing at all. It was a messed up situation that tore two really good friends apart. The words best friends means friends forever from 70 times 7 was originally from our song, so we took the line from their song. It was a little bit devious on our part, I admit, Nolan added. Sweetly, the former love rivals have made up and are even considering working together. The whole episode shows one thing. Emo guys can't do beefs. Well, that's what you may have thought in 2003, Blender Magazine, but it's 20 years later and people are still talking about this shit, so I think, yes, they can do beefs. TakingBackSunday.com journal update, January 2002, 2 months before the release of Tell All Your Friends. What's up? We just finished recording our album and is currently being mixed by the amazing duo of Tell All Your Friends is done. Blah, blah, blah. Also, we're playing this Saturday in Poughkeepsie with Murphy's Law, The Getaway, and Brand New. Oh, really? TakingBackSunday.com journal update, January 9th, 2002. Anyway, the show was really fun. All the bands rocked. Brand New especially rocked, and if you've been living in a cave and haven't heard of them, go to brandnewrock.com. Again, this is 2 months before Tell All Your Friends dropped. Fact: Jesse Lacey is thanked in the thank you list in the liner notes of Tell All Your Friends. Fact: in late 2002, Brand New and Taking Back Sunday went on tour together alongside the band Rufio. On this tour, Jesse Lacey would come out with Taking Back Sunday and perform There's No I in Team together with them during their set. And there's a lot of great classic footage of this going down, which looks a little something like this. Spin Magazine, 2003. A few years ago, a tiff over a girl between Lacey and Taking Back Sunday guitarist John Nolan, since patched up, escalated into a lyrical rivalry with unintentional results. Quote, it turned into this huge Jay-Z/Nas type thing, Lacey recalls. When kids found out we were touring together, they'd come because they thought we'd kick each other's asses on stage. Also, around this time, in a humorous and very infamous chain of events, Brand New made a t-shirt poking some fun at Taking Back Sunday. The shirt said, Brand New, because mics are for singing, not swinging, which was a little jab at Taking Back Sunday frontman Adam Lazzara, who had become known for his infamous mic swing technique. So Brand New were fueling the fire a little bit, making fun of him. Taking Back Sunday then responded with their own t-shirt, which said, Taking Back Sunday, proudly swinging since 1999. So there you go. So you guys get the idea. That's basically it. There's, most of everything that Mattie and I were able to find about the feud between Taking Back Sunday and Brand New at the time. As you can see, I don't know, in my opinion, it's, again, pretty funny how big of a deal it seemed at the time and still seems to this day, because when you really get into the facts of it, it's really not that exciting to me. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, they had a little thing over a girl. Based on the facts that we've seen, they had a little tiff over a girl. They wrote some songs about it, and it was patched up very quickly. Oh, one more fun fact that I almost forgot. John Nolan has a writing credit on a song on Your Favorite Weapon, which was before the Tell All Your Friends album even came out.
The final thing I want to ask you is about Brand New, because my friend said there's a little bit of beef in there in the history and stuff, and he kind of wants to know where it's at now.
Well, so that started as something that was more of kind of like a joke, I think, but between the two bands when we started out. And then, because we were listening to a lot of like Jay-Z and Nas at the time, so we're like, oh, well, we should have a battle. Anyways, and then but then I guess people in the press and other folks online caught wind of it, and they just took it running. So now all these years later, we get questions like, so what's up with Brand New? And we're just kind of like, I don't know, I haven't talked to them in like 10 years or so, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up. I think it really captured people's imagination, so you can go on the internet and read all kinds of things about it, and I'd say like a fraction of it is true, and about 90% of it is wild, creative speculation, and that stuff is actually a lot more entertaining than the reality of it. So
Wait, we might be ruining the mystery of the whole thing.
I've been actively trying to ruin the mystery, and I can't, so I'm just letting it. I mean, I'll acknowledge it, but yeah, I think we've even done shows where we like directly address things and like kind of tried to be specific about what happened, and people don't want to hear that. They want the wild, crazy story, so let them have it, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, they're the worst. There you go.
So the last thing I wanted to bring up before I end this video off, and this is something that is a little bit of my own conspiracy theory speculation as well. Again, just speculation here. So obviously, as you guys pretty much know, and as I mentioned earlier, back in 2017, Jesse Lacey of Brand New, got called out for some sexual misconduct kind of activities. And so here's the thing, right? In these allegations, these stories about Jesse Lacey, they do take place pretty early on in the Brand New career, but they, as far as I know, none of any of the public ones take place before Your Favorite Weapon came out. You know what I mean? And this tiff between John Nolan and Jesse Lacey was before any of them had any emo clout, before any of those albums came out, all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know if Jesse Lacey, I'm not saying, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a reason to believe, don't believe that any of this feud had anything to do with Jesse Lacey's sexual misconduct with women. I believe that I don't know, like, just the fact that they went back to being friends pretty much directly afterwards, that John and Jesse were able to make up, and then they toured together and were very vocal friends again. Like, I think those are two separate scenarios, the Taking Back Sunday Brand New feud, as well as, the Jesse Lacey sexual misconduct. I think, at least at the time, those were two separate things. You get what I'm saying? However, in 2015, years later, again, that video that I posted of Sean Cooper talking on stage, that was in 2012, and it seemed like they were still, they didn't have anything bad to say about Jesse or Brand New or anything, or at least they didn't in that video. In 2015, a few years after that, the Brand New Taking Back Sunday feud came up in an interview with Adam Lazzara, and Adam kind of unprompted and kind of mysteriously said this, quote, "I think Jesse Lacey is just a dick," he says. He just sucks. He's not a good person. So I remember reading this and being like, oh, that was like random, because they for years had said that like, oh, you know, we've patched things up, we're cool with them, there's no beef anymore, whatever. And then Adam said that kind of like out of the blue, it felt like, and it was like, huh, that's weird. And then 2 years later, we heard the things that we heard about Jesse. So I think that, like, I don't know, there was probably insider talk behind the scenes that, like, you know, word was getting out that Jesse was up to some stuff and some no good stuff, and the Taking Back Sunday guys heard about it, which prompted a comment like this from Adam. But again, I don't think, as far as I know, it has nothing to do with the, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, so it, as much as it is a very simple thing that happened, the beef between John and Jesse, brand new Taking Back Sunday, as much as it is very simple and kind of just silly, it's also, it is a very interesting rabbit hole to go down. And, you know, I was definitely very fascinated with it when I was in high school and when I was a young emo kid and whatnot. It's interesting to look back now. And once again, thank you to Mattie a ton for digging up some of this stuff for use in this video, because there's stuff that I showed in this video that I never knew about. So anyways, right on. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I hope you learned something. And maybe got some perspective on this thing. I don't know. This has been a fun little rabbit hole to go down. And, you know, it's definitely a big part of emo history. And at this point, like, music history, you know what I mean? So I think it's worth documenting and, you know. Yeah, so anyways, thank you guys. I love all you motherfuckers. Thanks for watching The Cozy Representative, and happy holiday season. I hope everyone's staying warm out there. I will catch you next time right here on The Cozy Representative. It's been yo man. Peace and love. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.